What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let 'em burn it out. Sell 'em to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Hello everyone, why am I so small on the screen? Oh, that's weird. Let's fix that one moment. And let mute music. It's all going wrong, hold on. We'll get that right, hang on. There we go. There we go, got it sorted out. Sorry about that, bit of a rush. I literally just running up and downstairs trying to get the kids to bed, and they're screaming at each other, arguing with each other, usual father stuff, nightmare. But yeah, good to see everyone. Welcome back to Question Time. It is our live show where we answer your questions about Unreal Engine 5, game dev, or whatever it is. Quick announcement, if you didn't see it yesterday, we had started our podcast. That's right, we're going to do a weekly podcast. Myself and Bill, my editor and good friend Bill, I'm going to be hosting a podcast, and you'll see like guest interviews and guest hosts coming in and out of the show. But check it out, it's over on Spotify as well. You need to fix a few things before I need to edit it. Like it's clipped some quiet parts in, which you shouldn't do. So I'm working on it. But we're going to try and do that every Tuesday going forwards. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And join us live, because we are asking for your discussion points and getting your responses to what we're talking about too. Cool. Is it me, or is it just my feed? Is it like low, like frame ratey? I don't know if it is or not. I think it might be because I've got this like blurring background filter on. Maybe that's what's doing it. I've also got a fan on because I'm super hot. As I said, I've been running up and downstairs like a lunatic. Getting stuff all kinds of ready. Okay, so we're going to jump straight in and jump over to Unreal. Okay, so the way this works is you just put your question into chat. I try and grab as many questions as I can and answer them the best I can live while we're on stream. I can see a few have already started coming in. And yeah, we can get started, I think. Yeah, the depth is quite nice. It makes it pop a little bit better, I think. Yeah, I agree. I need to do a better overlay. I don't. Well, I say overlay just in the background image, but I need to do a better overlay for this as well. Anyway, so first question we've got. I'm gonna scroll up here. Merguez has questions about inventory tutorial. Okay, yep. Throw them in the chat. Next question we've got is from Charlon Noir. I'd love advice on how to make a 2D parallax like Hollow Knight in Unreal. Specifically, the best way to add collision on the ground layer. Is it tile sets, art, or top of objects, etc.? Aha! Okay, so how to do a 2D game. So, you need... I'm going to get a 2D graphic of some kind. One sec. In fact, actually, I think I've got it in the Fab library. I'll just bring that in. That'd be quicker and easier. I'll say quicker. We're doing the Epic Game Launcher. We'll see how well we do. And I can show you how that works. Add to project. Cool. Okay, it's a small download, it'll be fine. Yeah, so the way all of that works is, yeah, you use a 2D tile set, but you can determine what the collision is on this 2D tile set. So you don't have to do anything manually, you don't have to put like invisible boxes everywhere. I mean, you could, but you don't have to. There is a way to do it without that. So we'll crack on with that as soon as it's in here. I think it's done it. No, it hasn't done it yet. Okay, so I need the graphics. I can't do it without the graphics. There is some settings you can change though. You can tweak. So in the project settings, oh, my camera's gone. One sec. What the hell's going on there? Technology is rubbish. Oh, the whole stream's frozen. Oh, one sec. I've no idea if anyone can hear me. We can hear you. Cool. Okay. I just can't click on anything. Hold on. There we go. I'm also going to turn off autosave on this thing because it kind of hogs everything else in the editor settings. Oh, just done it again. It just hogs resources and hangs whenever it has to do it. So yeah, if I do this and turn autosave, because there we go. Oh, I'm close the project settings now. Yeah, so on here, I can't remember what it's called, so bear with me as I try to find it. It might be actually on the actual asset when it comes in. So here's the sprites we've got here. Okay, so let's say I've got let's do, I don't know. There you go, there's a platform sprite. Okay, so the way this would work as you're building your game out is, oh, wait for shaders. You just drag it in like a normal 3D engine. So that's how Hollow Knight's made. It is still a 3D engine, it's Unity. But it works exactly the same way. It's just you lock the camera to an orthographic point of view. So let's say, right, here's my... I want this to be the floor of where my character can go, right? Now, by default, it won't have any collision on it. So if I go to player collision here, view, doesn't like it when you do this for some reason, but yeah, we'll take a look. You should see that it has no collision by default. Come on. There we go. Okay, so yeah, no collision. We want some thick collision up here. So this is also true when you want to get nav mesh generating on top of it too. So in the sprite, if you open it up, oh my god, everything's so slow. Oh, that's here. On the right hand side, on the sprite here, so not texture, sprite, you'll have collision thickness. So here it says 10, okay, which is not very thick. So I'm going to change that to be a lot thicker. We're going to say that's 100. Okay. So now you can see you get this thickness around it, okay, which means my player can run on top of it. Which also means you can have nav mesh generating on it too. So you can easily add thickness collision to any two-dimensional sprite. What I'm doing here, look, like that. So, for example, I'll try and jump on top of it. Nope. Bring it down. Okay, I can walk on top of it. Now, obviously, you're not meant to be playing from this point of view. You may be playing from a third-person 2D side-scrolling point of view. So let's showcase how that works, especially with the parallax effect that you see in 2D games. So first of all, we need a third-person character. We'll just do that. So I'm going to go add feature or content pack. Why is it going so slow? Do 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 do. Yeah, I know, cam's gone. It'll come back. Unreal's just hogging resources at the moment by the looks of it. I don't know what it is. I need a new PC. But alas, I cannot afford one yet. Oh my god. Can the collision match the 2D art, like follow it? I don't think so. I'll double check. I don't think you can. I think I can only do basic shapes. Or build a custom shape around it. But I'll have a look. So I have control back. Yeah, you can do a tile set version of it. Yep, you can do it as a tile set. So I'll do it as a sprite, but if you do it as a tile set, it works basically the same way. You just indicate which tiles will have collision, which ones don't. Again, you're still limited to like the sort of shape of it. It'd be quite basic shape. But yeah. My word, come on. I'm so sick of this computer. The end is no, they are rebelling. I don't know why it does it. It only does it for the stream. Like during the day, well, I say most of the time it's fine. It's just when I have to stream. Probably need like a separate machine for streaming, but again, can't afford it. So for now, this will have to do. The best news of the month. Fab is now in the launcher. Yeah, it took them long enough. Like, about damn time. Yeah, let's get in there. Finally doing the things that they should have been doing from the start of it. I can't do anything. It won't let me. Like everything else is fine in my Windows, but Unreal's just crapping out. Let me see if there's any other hogging processes in the task manager. One sec. Oh, now we're back. Yeah, so we're going to go add feature content pack, and on cue, there's my cat. Absolute dick of a creature. We can add that to the project there. Okay. And there it is. So I'm just going to change this over to use the third-person game mode. Okay. Okay, so we need a camera to be locked to that point of view. So normally when you're doing this, you'll have a separate camera actor. As it's a little bit nicer and easier to control than just sticking a spring arm on a character. Spring arm. Camera. And all you got to do for this thing is, on the event graph, get the player controller and set view target to self. Okay. And then if you want this thing to attach to the character and move along the character, you can do. That's probably the simplest thing to do. But I'm not going to worry. I would normally have more advanced stuff going on with the camera, doing all sorts of things. But for this, we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to lock it onto the character. We're going to keep world rotation. Location will snap, but yeah. Okay, so I can put my camera in. Oh, whoops, I forgot to turn off collision. There you go. I need to turn that camera around. Put my player start on the doodad. Like so. Oh yeah, the controls are messed up. Hang on. Because it's using relative space. Movement. Rather than getting control rotation, I'm just going to lock it off. So X is going to be to the left and right. Look about forward and back. Yeah. Oh, we need to tell the camera not to do anything as well. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to attach it. I'm just going to tell it to move with the player. That'd be easier. Set actor location. That'll do. Okay. Okay, my controls are reversed, but no matter. Okay, so you do this sort of thing. Okay, and the camera here will probably make a bit longer. So I'll go to spring arm here, change it to like 1,000. So a bit further out. Okay. So you have that sort of set up. But again, there's things you want to tweak with the sprite probably, because you don't want it being that close. You probably want to clip it with the player a little bit. So you go into here, and you can go in the collision geometry type. You can do fully custom. Oh, there's a shrink wrap, so you can do it to the geometry of the thing if you want, but we're going to go fully custom. And the collision geometry, we should be able to see it. Edit collision, there you go. I'm going to pull that down to about there. Okay. So now my character will run on that part of it. Okay. If I want to make, I should make this also a wider one. So I'm going to make that, say, 300. Okay. And then I'm going to move the character so they start in front of it. Essentially, they look like they're running on thin air, like this, right? So you have this sort of setup, but then you look at parallax effect. That's when you start blocking in other things. So you'd probably have another sprite. So, for example, I don't know, Sure, we'll just do that. We won't bother with any collision with this one. So you won't have you have decoration sprites, so ones that aren't going to be have any collision. They're just going to be in front of the character and behind the character. So we'll have that one there. Put that up here. There's trees in here, weren't there? And grass and bushes. We'll put those in there. The more you separate them out as well, the more of the parallax effect you're going to get. So we'll do that. Do that. Okay, you just build it up layer upon layer upon layer of all this stuff, right? Just keep on going. Mostly not doing it to a great attention to detail, but hopefully you get the gist. Let's chuck in the something. Again, like this. You just layer it up. And it works because you're using a perspective camera. If you change your camera to orthographic, it won't work. Okay, so you need to have a perspective camera on it. Yeah. You just stitch together the bits that are going to be important for your collision. Like that. And what's really cool about using a 3D engine, it means you can also have access to all the 3D tools like the Niagara system, chaos physics, physics engines in general. You know, you can really mess around with it and have some good, interesting designs. And obviously play with the scale of it as well. Okay. And because of the depth on it, things will start moving differently to the character. Okay, just because of the perspective shift is it. So things closer to you are going to move faster than you. So you just space it apart like this. And so if you ever looked at Hollow Knight and other 2D games, they look like this, where it's all separated out in like loads and loads of layers. It's quite a cool effect, but yeah. How you can set this up as a layered children to camera itself as well. Physically doing it in levels kind of tricky. You mean so if you want to do things that move with the environment with the camera, you can also lock it to the camera if you want. Most of the time, you're doing it like this, just because it gives you more freedom and things. Yeah. So you can mess around with all those different settings you saw in the collision. Yeah, you just keep blocking out interesting things like this. I'll probably change the camera's width down to that, but maybe also change the field of view on it as well. So go to camera and change the field of view to be a bit more narrow. Oh, too narrow. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the donation. Thanks for the tip. You sent videos, Turtle Tank, about what you're trying to achieve. Let's have a look. Okay, let's take a look. All right, yeah, simple enough. Okay. Yeah, so Total Tank is asking about a particular puzzle to do in here. So I'm going to switch this back to first person. And so you should be back to... No? Oh, yeah, we'll take out the camera. There you go. They're doing like a maze game where you tilt the maze to rotate it, and you can... The things will be inside of it gravity-wise to block it. So you need a couple of things. First of all, you need the actor for the maze, so BP maze, like this. And then you need to build the actual maze shape you want out of this. So I'm going to do a basic one quickly in modeling mode. We'll use cube grid, and we'll change it. It's quite a small little thing you're rotating around, so we'll do block size of 10 maybe. Okay, pull, 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 pull. Pull, 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 pull. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll pull 100 out. Like that. Pull. That's it. And cube grid that down again to like 10. And then I can pull these out. So pull that. So the Total Tank thing was that there's a maze like looks sort of like this, right? And then you had like bits inside of it. So they have like pull that, pull that, pull, 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 oh, pull. Something like that. Okay, and then inside there, they got another cube that's just bouncing around, and that you slide with rotations. Okay. So, but it's like very. Let's just double check the video. It's very directional. Oh wait, no, you're doing. No, I'm confused. Hang on. Okay, so yeah, you got a couple of things. Yeah, 2 puzzles. Okay, so yeah, I saw the other one. Either way, it's still same setup here. So, in here, we can also then want to make the little boxes inside of this thing. First of all, let's actually add this to the maze. Stack mesh. We're in here. Like that. There we go. Then we've got, as part of this, we need a controllable part of this. So we need a little box. Okay, so I need a little basic box. So let's just go back to modeling mode and do a little box here. It'll be 10 by 10 by 10. Bang. Done. Okay. Let's go back to a thing. And let's add that to our thing here. Another stack mesh. And this one is going to be a little box. And we'll start that here maybe. And let's turn the snaps off for a second. Or smaller. There we go. Okay, so there's two puzzles. One is going like tap, 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 and you're moving it bit by bit. Another one is you're rotating it to drop it around like with gravity. So this mesh here, we'll call this one the player cube. Like this. And let's do like movement based stuff on it first of all. So I'm going to add a little camera to this thing too. And we'll just put that over there. Sort of like that. So we got this maze thing here. Okay, and I want to move this little cube around with little inputs. So back on the maze here, we'll just do. I'm just going to cheat and just use WASD. Actually, oh no, I'll tell you what. I can just do it with this actually. IA move. There you go. On begin play, not begin play. We'll become view target. On become view target, we'll enable input on this thing. Get player controller. So that these will now do stuff. And on the hopefully I picked the right one. On started here, I want to move the little cube thing. Oh, the camera's attached to the wrong one. Hang on. There you go. I want to move the player cube. So it's going to move in relative space, essentially. And all I'm going to do is, on here, is add relative location to it. And that's going to be based upon the action value I put in here. So X is going to go along the X-axis. Split that. And then Y will go along the Y-axis. But what I want to do here is multiply this, first of all, by the factor we're going to do, which is going to be 10. Because it's a 10 by 10 cube. And now split this, X, and Y be Z axis. Okay. And so we should see this thing do that. Okay. Let me. How can I make this work without making a whole interaction system? I'll tell you what. I'll just do is I'll add a little sphere collision. So when I walk into it, I'll take over it. Actor begin overlap. If the other actor is equal to the player character, like this. Set view target. Get player controller first. Player controller. Set view target with blend to self. A blend time of 1. Okay. Yeah, so if I hit that little circle thing there, it should take over that control. Okay. And now if I hit the keys, WASD, it'll move. Yeah, I'm just tapping WASD to move it around. Now for collision, to that moment you see it will go in between them. You need to do a thing which will like check to see if the place you're about to go to is empty. Okay. So to do that before you actually move them. So back on the maze, before you add relative rotation location to this, you want to do a almost like a trace test really. So we're going to do a line trace by channel. And I also know I need to do collision. I ain't done collision yet on this. So actually we could do sweep. That might save us a lot of hassle. If I turn on sweep here and turn on collision for all these things. So this one, because it's a maze, it's got all these little indentations. This has to use complex collision. All right. So in the details panel, I'm going to go down, change that to use complex collision. Okay. And so it will use that sort of collision shape to work out what to do. Okay, which is fine because it's very grid-like, it's very basic. The other one, the player cube, we just use a box collision. There you go, done. But because we've got sweep turned on, it should actually stop it. Double check that. I'm pretty certain that's the case. No. Okay, we'll just do a line trace. It might be other things that are causing that problem. But yeah, so line trace it is. So, move that aside here. Line trace by channel. We want a trace complex. It might be because it's a complex collision. Maybe the sweep won't work for that. Need a trace complex because we're tracing the complex shape of it. The start position will be the player cube's world location. And then we're going to add to it. Oh. Add to it. The direction we're going to go in. So this thing needs to be here again. But we're going to split this. And X will go there, Y will go there. So it's going to check to see if it's free. Yeah. And if it's not a hit, we want that to let it proceed. So false, go there. And for draw debug type, we put on for duration for this time being to make sure that's working as we intend it to. Okay, kind of there. It's just the pivot point for the shape isn't correct. Oh, why is it still not detecting it? Hold up. Go to that box. Let me change the pivot point for this. So go to modeling mode. And the pivot point, edit pivot, center. Like that. That's going to change this slightly. It's going to like clip through. Just need to edit that so it doesn't start off clipping. Like that. Just make sure that this collision on here, block all dynamic, blocking all the traces. Yeah, it should work. Oh, I need to be not 10, 20. You're looking ahead of the space. Oh no, 20 should be. I don't know. We'll just do 20. Here, 20. I think. Can't think. It's late now. That's better. That's what you want. You see the red lines going... And that's not what we want, but... Why is it not detecting the hits? You should see a little green or a little square appear. Why is the trace not working? Trace complex. Yep. Double check it has got collision on it. Yep. It would still be 10. Put it back to 10. Oh, ignore self. Turn off ignore self. I'm being dumb. There you go. Okay, so now I can't move anywhere. So I'm just tapping the key to make it move. Okay. The other one you shared was one that involved rotating it, and letting gravity, like physics stuff, handle that. I won't do that one now because I understand there's more people with questions. So we're going to take more questions. If there's time and no questions, we'll go for it, but I doubt there will be. But with this, hopefully this basic stuff you see here, you can see how it could work with physics as well. You just need to make sure that with the player cube, you obviously simulate physics on it, but you constrain it so it doesn't popping out of the position of the box. Okay, you may have to change the constraint manually in the code because it will depend on the rotation because that's a world constraint. Okay, these are world positions. Okay, so you need to find which is the forward position of the whole maze and then lock it in that constraint there. But yeah, should give you enough to go on there. But yeah, cool. That's a little gimmick. Nice. Next question. Asmund, hey Ryan, how would you set up an item weight system like in Skyrim, where you can't run if you've got too many items? Yeah, pretty simple, really. Obviously, I'm not going to make a whole inventory system for this, but what I'll do is we'll fake it. So, on the player, we'll have all of our items, okay? You'll have a variable, which would be your items, it'd be an array, and every time you add an item, you want to recalculate how much weight is in each one. So you should have a weight number associated with each one. So we'll make a very quick example. We just do a data asset for this. Again, it doesn't have to be a data asset. It could be a table if you want. And I won't bother with the whole thing. I'm just going to put in weight. And that'd be a float. And in the items here, we're going to have DA item mapped with a integer. So how many of that item do we have? Okay, very basic thing. And then every time I add an item, I need to recalculate how much weight I have. So we'll have a function here to calculate weight. And that will go through each of the items and add it all on. You don't have to go through the whole entire item list. If you want to, you can just add or remove the part of the inventory you're adding on at the same time. So when you do add to inventory, you could easily work that out instead. Okay. The camera's off, that's fine. We'll deal with that. I'm going to chuck it over to the regular camera. It doesn't like this one sometimes. There you go. The one without the fancy depth of field. Yeah, so here we'll get the keys for each. And we get the weight. And we're going to add that onto a local variable L weight. Set. And then completed here will return the weight value. And in fact, I probably should also promote that to an actual variable. Like that. So that's what calculate weight is going to do. So every time I add an item, calculate weight is going to trigger that and just update the weight value. Now, I'm not going to bother adding other items to this. I'm just going to type in a value for the weight. Let's say it's like 100. Okay, so 100 is going to be too heavy. Right. You would have another variable saying your weight limit. And when you go to move, you can just change the scale value based upon the weight limit. So if I go to the root of that, wherever that may be, move here. I can either do it here, I can do it other side, whatever side I want to do. But let's recombine it, multiply that, and then split that back up. And the multiplier here will be a float. And we're either going to multiply it by 1 or 0 based upon the weight and weight limit. So you go weight. If weight is greater than the weight limit. We'll do a select. And if it's true, we're going to have it set to 0. Otherwise, we'll have it set to 1. And that's it. So the weight limit here I've put down as like 80, for example. And so our weight is 100. This should mean I should be able to move. Yep, can't move. And because we've got a boolean, you can then chuck up a sign to the player saying you're too encumbered, you can't move, whatever it may be. And let's say they ditch a load of items, and then the player's weight will go down now to like 50. Meaning that they can now move. Okay. So, pretty simple. Next question. Scrolling up. How do I get my friendly AI to aim at the enemy AI? They aim side to side, but not up and down. Okay, so up and down aiming, they technically are aiming. You just can't see it because you may not have added aim offsets or aim lookouts in your control rig or whatever. So it's not designed for that. So, but it could technically be aiming. To get them to recognize and look at friendly or non-friendly AI, you kind of have to build your own sort of system because the one that's built into the engine is buggy and broken. They've never fixed it. So what I've made in the past is I've made a team-based system. So I'll have a base character for my enemies, okay? So imagine this is my base character. In the variables, I'll have a thing called team responses. And in there, I'll have typically an integer mapped to a response, and that usually will be an enum saying hostile or whatever. So, for example, we'll make 3 friendly, neutral, hostile. Okay, and in there you'll have that E response there. So when you're compiling it, you say, okay, so 0 will be reacting to hostile in that sense. Okay, but how do you know what team they're on? So another variable you have on each character is the team that they're on. And it don't have to be an integer. You can make it like a tag if you wanted to. It's not a big deal. But we'll make that a single variable, like that. And so what you want to do is have a function or interface or whatever you want to do to check the team that you're looking for. So check response to character. And in there, you would have a pass-through of which character you're looking at. So, let's say first-person character. I'd get their team. Look at my team responses. I'm doing a find. And then returning my response. And so when I'm doing like an AI look at thing, I'll check the response and basically check whether or not they should ignore them and not react to them. That's it, really. So this is how I've done it in the past to get around this, because there is a whole thing with that perception system about who you can see and what you can't see, but it's not easy. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. I've often also made like interfaces to help manage this a little bit easier between targets. Yeah. You can also do a thing to say like if it doesn't find it, yeah, it will be always hostile. So you can like do a branch there to indicate that branch. If it's true, if it's false, it will return hostile. You can also check to see if their team is the same as your team. So if the team here is equal to your team, or say not equal to, would say. Not equal to, would probably be a nicer way of saying it. If the teams are not equal to each other, we'll crack on over there. If they are equal to each other, then you probably just want to return friendly. Yeah, so it'll look something like this. Character get team, there's numbers. You say it could be numbers, could be tags, however you want to present it, up to you. And then go through the motions like that. Okay. M Gaming Studios, evening, Mr. Laley. Can you do random modifiers for the arena? For example, after a few minutes in the match, a modifier fires off, causing low gravity or increased speed for the player and enemies. Yeah, so I've done something similar to that before. It was actually part of a fire team, if you remember that. That was something that was going to have that sort of feature. So the way it was being handled was there's a blueprint class, and we'll call it arena effects. And you make children of that for each effect. So you'll have one for low gravity. Yeah. Another one for faster characters, whatever. And in here, you just do the logic of what you want it to spawn in on. So on begin play, it will do something. So in this case, faster characters, it will have a modifier that sets up, okay, this is what the characters' things are going to do. You can affect them all right away by getting all the actors and just telling them to do this. Another thing you can also do is the actor can check to see if this faster character thing's turned on, have the logic running that, whatever it may do. And every minute you just put on a game mode of a timer, which will have all these in like an array, in a class array, and every minute you just randomize which one to spawn in. It will spawn it in, and I used to also set up a life span for each one, so it only lasts for like 30 seconds, for example. And then it'll destroy and undo everything. Just make sure that when you're doing this on begin play, any changes you make on begin play, you undo those changes on end play. Otherwise, you're kind of screwed. So yeah, make sure you undo everything you do with the end play. Yeah. So that's a way of doing it. Another way of doing it is you have, if you want to do character modifiers, so the characters are looking at all times what's going on with the world. You can have the game mode or game state look after a series of tags in an array. These tags reflect the effects, and then all this code will be in the game state. It's up to you, really, how you want to handle it. But this is how I did it with Fire Team when I was working on that part of the game. It was literally begin play, do something, in play, undo it. So, like, for example, on begin play, we get all the, let's say I want to get all the player characters. It's not a great way of doing it because you have to get all actors of class, which is not nice, but what are you going to do? Character. And then for each one of them, obviously, if you're it depends on the game. So if I'm doing like a battle royale type thing, I wouldn't do this because I wouldn't do it with 100 characters. But if I only got like 4 or 5, it's not a big deal. I can then set the movement mode or gravity to whatever I want. Yeah, basically it. We're almost at the end, so I'm just scanning through to see if there's any other little ones we got. Does that make sense, M Gaming? Let me know if you need further detailed breakdown of that. Would an event dispatch on a game instance be more efficient? You can't do it on a game instance because if you're doing this in like a multiplayer thing, you mentioned like arena stuff. A game instance is unique to yourself, so you can't do it there. You have to be on a game state if you're going to do it anywhere. But yes, you could do it on a game state, event dispatcher, and then make them all react to the event dispatcher. Totally. That might be a good way of doing it, yeah. So yeah, yeah, play around with it. It depends heavily on what your game is and what you're trying to do and different effects you're trying to do. Like for example, I had a system which also spawned like a giant hurricane in the middle of the map, and this hurricane would move around the map. And that would have to be an actor, so it was like, well, in that case, just make it an actor, and all the effects would just be actors that spawn in. But yeah. Over Beck Studios. For cleanup, how can I create a tool that lets me select multiple materials in the content browser and find the associated textures and have them show in a list so I can move them to a new folder? There's probably some utility tools you can make to handle that. Because obviously you can go into a material, right? Does it actually have any materials in here? I don't know. It doesn't have any textures. I don't think this thing has any things in it. Hang on, add feature. We'll add some start content to it. So obviously you can use reference viewer to find the textures and things like that, and get all the referenced textures from that. However, you can't do that for multiple things at the same time, I don't think. And also, it sounds like you want to actually do something with those textures without just seeing them. You want to actually do something with them, like move them. So you could probably make an editor utility to handle that. Yeah, so for those who don't know, you can visit a reference viewer. This shows you, in this case for material, all the materials that are being used. Yeah. I don't think it works for multiple. If I select multiple here. No, yeah. Can't tell now. Oh yeah, no, it does. It does select them all. Okay, just more like that. But I don't know if I can move them. Yeah, no. So it's probably a utility tool. Editor utility blueprint. It may be an editor function library or asset action. Could be an object as well. Don't know. I'm not too good at this utility stuff here. But if you give like a reference to an asset, so in here we have an object. Object reference. Sure. Get references. So packages that reference the supplied package. I don't think it's going to work. No. Yeah. Asset management, or asset manager, sorry. Asset manager. There probably is a way of doing it. I'm not familiar, but with this too well, but it should be in here somewhere, I'd imagine. I say it could be one of the other ones. That's just a function library. Don't care about that. As action. Asset. Get selected assets. This returns what you've got in your selected in your content browser. So let's just like get the first one, for example. It gives us the output there, but then it's like I want to get the references. Get all referenced asset datas. No. I mean, it could be. If given the handle itself has valid asset data, it should be returned as the last element of the array. I don't know what that's going to do. For each name. Yeah, sure, full name. Oop. Ah, yeah, it needs this. I don't know what that would be. There's this, but I don't know. I think this does the opposite of finding all that information. Get object name, target object. That's a soft object path structure. Get a soft object path. Try that. I don't know. Yeah, so once you make the utility, you make a widget for it, so you can or you can run it here. But I need a thing to run it, so we'll go make a widget. Sure. And we'll make a button. Okay, and on clicked, we want that to run utility. No, what's it called? Run. It'd be easier if I did this. I forgot what type it is. Ooh. It's a utility. I'm going to guess object. See if I know. So this one will set to. Yeah, no, wrong one. What is it? Asset action utility. Right. Asset action utility. There we go. Might not that one again. Could be, but yeah, it's fine. Do that. Okay, so when you're making these things, you can add like text or whatever to it. You can then run this widget. Okay, so you run the widget, you get this, and you can tab it to wherever you like that. And then I could go to material, click on this, no print string. I mean, it's hard to know. Not getting any warning messages. Maybe it's something like if I select something that's actually being used. Hang on. If I go props here, materials, door. Okay, or chair. There you go. Chair's definitely being used or something. No. I don't know. It's down this road. But that should return what we've got selected in the thing here. Oh, it's not. Okay. Is it even running? I don't even actually know if the print string would run. It should run in the editor. I swear I've seen that doing that before. No, I've lost it now. Oh wait, I'm getting errors. Maybe. Let me just chuck this on the other screen for a sec. No. Okay, no, happened. I don't know. What if I just take it to run? Yeah, nothing. Oh no, something to look into. It's down that path of thinking. But something I need to brush up on is utility tools and things like that. Would a Python script help? And I could set multiple materials and run script actions. I don't know if Python can run in the editor. I know some tools have it, but I'm not entirely certain if the whole thing has it. I'm not entirely certain. It's something they recently added. Try it. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Possibly. But yeah, it's along those sort of lines, but I'm not entirely certain. Yeah, keep digging. Yeah. Diver Girl. I'm currently making achievements for my game and made functions for each achievement. For example, I have one that is get 10,000 coins. So every time the coin UI is updated, it checks through about a branch if coin amount is equal to 10,000. Is there a better way of checking every time the coins UI is updated? Yeah, kind of. But it is essentially that. When you're doing, you don't necessarily have to count it. So the way achievement systems work in like Steam, for example, is you set up stats, okay? And so I don't know if it's going to be on by default. I haven't turned anything on, but you set a stat across, and then the achievement gets earned on the side of the system, okay? So I have no idea if stats are turned on by default. Hang on. Online stat. Yeah, no. You send stats across, so I would need to turn on the online subsystem and stuff. So if I turned on Steve, I have to restart. I can't be asked. So yeah, you have a thing. You send stat, and so every time something happens, you send a stat across. That is achievement tracking, and the back end system, the Steam, EOS, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever, that is then looking at the stats and comparing them to a total. If it reaches that total, then it'll say you've earned the achievement. Yeah, you don't personally say like achievement earned. Yeah, you just write progress. Oh, so yeah, done write progress. So this goes through as like achievement. So the stat name would go through there, put in the progress, and that's it. Okay, that's all you got to do. You don't have to do anything else. And achievement system will get pinged, and you'll see the overlay come up with the achievement when they've done the achievement. Okay, that's all you gotta do. If you want in-game stuff to happen when achievement is earned, then that has got to be something a bit different. So, for example, you have on success here, you need to set up some sort of event dispatcher to react to it being successful and doing it. Where would you call the function? When you pick up a coin, in that case. So every time I pick a coin up, I'd write progress, or you can cache it. You can cache it, and so every 10 you pick up, or every minute or every 2 seconds you'll do it, rather than every time you pick up a coin. You'd say write progress to it. Up to you. So you can cache it and then do it in chunks, or you do it each time you pick up a coin. Write progress. Yeah, that's it really. It depends on what you're updating. If it's something that's updating like crazy all the time, I'll probably cache it myself. Then send a bulk. Otherwise, you'd be just doing one. Sending every coin, it'd be like coins. One. Yeah, so it'd be like that. Yeah, if it's a clicker game, I'd do it in bulk. It doesn't mean you have to wait like 2 minutes to do it. You can do it every few seconds, because you're going to be sending stuff anyway on net latency quite a lot. So it doesn't matter too much. But yeah. So this would be a coin, and when it's removed or whatever, active overlap here, write progress, controller, name, coin, progress, 1, go. And if you're reacting to it in game, you put stuff on here, whatever. But that's it. I wouldn't do it anywhere else. And if you are going to cache it, so every begin overlap over here, you'd have a coin cache stored somewhere. So it wouldn't be on here. It'd be on like a player count control or something like that. But for simplicity's sakes, coin cache, add 1, set the coin cache, and then you'll have a timer function, and that'll be sending this every half second, every second, whatever it is. Send achievement progress. I know I've mistyped that, but never mind. And then you put in the coin cache, and on write success, you then clear the coin cache. Something like that. Last question, Pandremus. How would you create an ability that lifts the player up by spawning a cube that gets bigger in height every second the button it is on hold? So you need a cube that's routed to the bottom. So easy way of doing that. Just get modeling mode, box, like that. And you want the root, like the pivot down there at the bottom. And then we'll just squash that down like that. Okay. And then when the player spawns us in, let's say, I'm just going to make it automatic. I'm not going to make it so I hold down the button. I guess I could. It's not too much work. We'll have that static mesh in here. Which one of these is it? That one. Yep, like that. Yeah, so we'll squash it down to a height like that. Even 0, totally fine with that. Oh, I forgot to set the collision for it as well. Collision, save. Yeah, so on here, we'll just do it so on begin play, we'll enable input on this thing. Get player controller. And every time I hold down the not one key. Yeah, we'll do 1 key. We'll make it start growing. So we'll do set timer. I'll tell you what I'll do. There's loads of ways of doing it, but we'll do it on a tick. We'll gate it. Gate. That'll be opening it. Releasing it will close it. I wouldn't use tick. I'd probably use timers, things like that, but we're running very late and we've got to end it. But we'll do that, and then we'll take the mesh here, set scale, set relative scale 3D. And all you're going to do is F-interp the Z-axis there. Don't forget to set the others to 1 and 1. So on the Z-axis, the current axis would be the static mesh, get relative scale, split that, get the Z. Target will be this plus 0.1. Delta time, delta seconds, intercept speed, do 3. Why not? So like this. Oh, I've got to put in an actual level. There we go. Make sure I can actually see the thing. There you go. I'm holding down one key, it's going up. And if I let go, it'll stop going up. Yeah. And off I go. Just keep on going. As long as the pivot's at the bottom, it will scale up where you need it to. Yeah. There you go. Still don't know what gates do. So it's like a real gate. You can open and close it, and you can use functions to control whether or not something should be happening or shouldn't be happening. So using something like in like a tick, for example, is quite useful. Like you can lock off when stuff should happen and when it shouldn't happen. Yeah, there you go. Pretty simple. Boom. Okay. Yeah, there you go. That's how you scale up. Stuff like that. Oh yeah, last question. It's a basic one. I have a question. Hi Ryan, I have a question not directly about UE5. How do you keep your game design documents? Just in Google Docs, or do you prefer boards like Lucid, Spark? Thank you for everything you do, by the way. I prefer documents because eventually you have to give that document to someone, be it a publisher or a platform holder. It's a lot easier to do when it's a PDF that you can just give them. So I prefer that. I'll use other tools for various things like mind mapping and brainstorming things, but generally speaking, all my design documents are in like docs. That'll have to do, unfortunately, as we are out of time. Run a bit over, but that's fine because I love spending time with you guys. So I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has joined us live here. If you want us to catch up, great. But join us live. You can ask your own questions. It'd be great. If you want to support the channel, please head over to patreon.com/Ryan Laley. You'll get access to all our videos early. You get access to a load of other features like Discord rooms and other like project files and other things like that. There are things that I'm currently putting together to add further rewards for people who are supporting us on Patreon. The podcast, there are going to be some rewards for that over there too. But yeah, we're thinking of things, okay? But this wouldn't be possible without you guys, so thank you so much everyone who is over there supporting the channel. Every dollar counts, so it does matter a lot. Thank you so much. We're back again live, hopefully this weekend, with a playtest of Mimic. TBD on that one. I'm hoping to get things where I want with it. I've done some really cool stuff with it. I've been doing control rig stuff with it lately to get so the Mimic will like wrap itself around objects when it crawls up stairs and steps and things. So it's kind of cool, but need to test it out properly. But other than that, if we're not live this weekend, we'll be live again Tuesday next week for our podcast. So we're back again live on Tuesdays for podcast, Wednesdays for Q&A. So join us live then for further discussion with myself and Bill. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Take care, have a great evening, and I'll see you all next one. Bye, everyone.
は僕を